Hello everyone, Jake here. I got another pressure pot. This one's a 5-gallon California Air Tools. It's supposed to be set up for resin casting already. Minimal conversion. There's other ones that are a little bit more expensive. I didn't want to spend the money, and we're gonna see what we have to do to get this done. So I'll put links to this one and the other ones down below so you can compare and see if it's worth it to you. So let me get this unboxed. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Here, that's right out of the box. Here's our regulator. Looks like it's just going to screw in. And we got to put a air fitting nipple on it. That's it. That's what it looks like to me so far. And let's see what we're going to do. Let's see, put some wheels on this thing. I bet they're inside. Amazing. Got some directions. They got some fittings that we don't need. This is for airlines going out. We don't need that. All right, we're gonna put these tires on. I'm gonna get you a little closer so you can see. I'm gonna flip this over. And these obviously are just going to go in there like that. And you want your lock washer towards your nut, not towards that. So your flat washer, then your lock washer, and then your nut. There's a nut under here, right on top of this surface. There's a nut, but the wrench is too big to get in there. But this around here is where you can get a wrench on it. So I'll get this, and this is I think that was a 14 millimeter. Boom. That bottom part is done, so I'm going to flip that over and get it out of the way for a second. All right, here's our regulator, and it goes right here into that fitting. That looks like a AN fitting, so shouldn't even need to put sealant on it, so I'm not gonna do that. But right here is where your air goes in, so you have a 1/4 inch air inlet fitting, and it has female threads on it. This one has male, that's female, and so it's going to go on there just like this. I'm going to put some of this stuff on there, and we'll be done. Underneath our pot, the important thing is this is the air inlet. This is that regulator that we put on. This is the air inlet. There's a hole. Looks like it's just a nut there, but there's a hole over here and a hole over there. So that way, when you're putting air in, it doesn't just shoot right out at your resin and splash everything anywhere. That's one thing you need to look for when you do have any pressure pot. You need to make sure that you have something on there to keep from blowing your your resin everywhere. I'm gonna put this lid on and tighten it up. I'm gonna give this some time to set up, this inlet nipple right here, and I'll give it a little bit of time. We'll come back and I'll go over setting these things up, like the pop-off valve and the regulator, and then give you my final thoughts on this. And the best part about these pots is how they tighten up. It's so easy. You don't have to strain or hurt your hands doing this stuff. Super, super easy. So they've kind of all got some tension on them. Just give it a couple of businesses there. Give this one. Of course, when I use this, it'll be on the ground or somewhere level. It's not going to be on the table like this, but you get the point. Go in a star pattern like you're doing the lug nuts on a car or whatever, and it's already done. This thing's I already have confidence because I have the big one, the big 10-gallon pot already. I have confidence this thing's gonna seal. So we'll come back and put some air in this thing and go over some things. Okay, it's time to put some air in this thing, and we're gonna put it in right here. We're gonna hook the hose up right there. We're gonna make sure that this is closed, make sure that this outlet's closed, and this outlet right there is closed. First thing I did was this regulator right here. We don't know where it's set right out of the box, so I'm going to turn it to the left just a few turns, and then because that's going to ensure that it's lower than what it was, and then we can move it up slowly. So I'm going to add the air and turn this lever and put some air in there. That's a little above 30 psi right there, so I'm going to turn it to the right, tighten it, and it'll let more air in. Now that's right about 55 psi right there. And before we go any further, I want to show you how to do the pop-off valve. We've just learned how the regulator works. So I'm going to close that. Take that off of there. Turn it around. And here's our pop-off valve. And the bottom of it, there's a nut right there. You loosen it off, and then you can turn this top part. So it's at 55 pounds right now. I'm going to loosen this till it pops, and that's going to tell us that's at 55 pounds. So, and it's going to scare you probably. So, okay. So now we want this, screw it in a little bit, so we don't want it going off right at 55, we want it a little bit higher than that. So screw it in, and tighten it. So now that's set at above 55 pounds. There you go, that's all there is to that. And that's about it. Now we're going to let this sit here, and I'll see if it, we'll go ahead and see if it loses any air. And we'll wait a couple hours. All right, it's been a couple hours, and it hasn't lost anything. So one of the differences between this one and the one that they have that's all the way set up for pressure casting is you lose this big air outlet. Like I love it on my other one because it just lets the air out faster. Otherwise, I'll do it right now. This one back here, the air outlet, just kind of let, you can see, right? So you'll have to wait for the air to get out. This one here we go. So the one that's set up just for pressure casting has this removed, which the argument to that is that this lid will be stronger. Okay, the other ones have it. We're going to 55 pounds. This one's rated for 70. We're not pushing this thing too much. This thing says 70 on the lid, and it has 80 in the direction. So if we're going at 55, we're plenty safe. And then the other difference between this one and the one they have set up for just pressure casting is this little block right here is gone, and they put an adapter fitting there, and this goes to that. So those two differences, that's it, and it's almost $40 more. So I'll put a link to this one and a link to the other one below, Amazon, and go decide what you want to do. Or I think this is pretty cool that somebody can just buy it and put a fitting on it and go. So let's wrap this up. One of the most frequently asked questions I get when I do pressure pot videos is how big of an air compressor do I need for this? And my answer is I would have a tank as big as this tank. So this is a 5-gallon pressure pot. I have a 10-gallon and 2.5 gallon. So the smaller ones, a 2.5 gallon, a pancake compressor is fine. This one right here, I would say you would need a 5-gallon tank that holds more than 100 PSI to fill this in a timely manner. Otherwise, if you have a pancake compressor on this one, it would probably have to kick back on and run several times before it would fill this up. But by that time, your resin's already set up, you're done. So 5-gallon tank for this, 2.5 gallon tank for the Harbor Freight one, and I have the 10-gallon one. I personally have a 60-gallon tank. I come from a mechanical background and we run air tools all the time, so I already had a big compressor. So there you go on how big of a tank do you need for this. All right, everyone, I'll put links to everything below, and I'll put links to my other videos below. I got the Harbor Freight one, the follow-up to the Harbor Freight one, how to convert any pressure pot, and other videos pertaining to any of this. And then if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Give me a thumbs up and tell me what kind of resin casting you do in the comments. See y'all next time, and y'all be good.